Hello, hello, hello. I'm Josetta Yvonne, your book bae, coming on for a quick book chat today. I hope this video finds you well and happy Monday. So, two books I just wrapped up. One is a thriller. It is by Casey Mills. It is Innocent Intent. I will say that this thriller, and thinking about her other books, she is going to be a auto buy for me because everything I have read by her has been very good. They have been page turners and twists and turns and things I don't want to put down. That includes her romance books. And I also picked up a Christmas book recently that she wrote last year that was super popular that I plan to get to this year. But anyway, let's get back to this one, the one I just finished up, Innocent Intent. So let me give you a part of the synopsis here on the back. Cassidy Evans is the blueprint. She's a criminal psychologist. She spent years solving groundbreaking cases by shifting through the minds and behaviors of those driven by the darkness that controls them. After years of dedicated field work, Cassidy decides to retire and share her expertise on killers' mentalities as a novelist. As a published author, she's now happily married and spends most of her time traveling the world and sharing with others how to understand the twisted minds that drive destructive behaviors. Unfortunately, with all the knowledge that Cassidy is armed with, she somehow overlooks the lies of the person closest to her. When she tags along to a crime scene with an old colleague, Cassidy is shocked to discover that the victim is her husband. If that's not enough to send her world spiraling, she also finds out that the identity of the murder victim doesn't match the name on their marriage license. So that'll be it for the synopsis. There's some more here, but as you heard, Cassidy is a criminal psychologist. She is married to the love of her life. Everything is going perfectly as planned, and she's out with her old colleague. He invites her to a crime scene because she is the GOAT in her field, and he figures, why not? And she says, okay. And she tags along only to discover that it is her husband. But it is not the name that she knows him as. And so then the story takes off. She, of course, is going to be looked at as the prime suspect. We all know, those of us that watch Law and Order, normally, and even in real life, they always think of the spouse as the initial suspect. And the crazy part is all the clues really point to her. But anyone that watches those kind of shows, you would know how to set this up. But as a criminal psychologist, you have to also know that she has created so many enemies over the years. She's putting people behind bars. There's no way you can be in that kind of field as a police person, as a criminal psychologist, as a lawyer. There's no way you can be in those kind of positions, putting people behind bars and not create enemies from not only the people you put behind bars, but you also may become a target because their families are still not behind bars and they see you as a problem or as the person that ruined their lives. And so as this twists and turns, it's so interesting to see how this detective comes in. And thank goodness he is a person that thinks outside the box. And he's just not going with the obvious. Because as we know, she's smart. She's a criminal psychologist. she would never be so stupid to just leave things where they are or be easily exposed. Yes, yes. So pick this up if you are in the mood for a great thriller. And I would even say a little bit of romance. That was a surprise to me. But it was a welcome surprise because sometimes when we're in our toughest seasons, a little love goes a long way. But yes, pick this book up if you're interested in a thriller that is fast-paced, a real turner. If you are into like Law and Order, Criminal Intent, those things, I think you will really, really, really enjoy the book. Casey did an amazing job keeping your interest, and surprisingly, the person at the end is not the person you would think it's going to be. So pick this up if you're in the mood for a thriller. The next book I just finished, it is a summer book. This is not a good picture. Sunset Over Napa Valley by Monica Garner. This is the black and white. Let me give you a better picture. Here we go. Can you see that good? Yeah. So this book, I think I just happened to see it on Kindle Unlimited, and so that's how I kind of dived into this book. But it was really, really good. I would say it's a summer romance with themes of friendship, forgiveness. The main character here is Remy, her husband Gerald, her best friend Bianca since childhood, Bianca's daughter Mila, and Remy's daughter, I can't remember Remy's daughter, Zora. And so the story begins, they're in Louisiana, and she is happily married. Her daughter is in college now, and she's chasing her dream. And unfortunately, her husband and her are having an argument. And during their argument, when he has his back turned to her, he has a heart attack while they are going blow for blow because she did not make it to his business meeting because she was handling affairs for her new venture that she has going on that he has been supportive of. But it ran long. She got really tied up, and so he is beyond mad. He is enraged at her missing the meeting, and so much so that he ends up collapsing during the argument. And unfortunately, he does not make it. And so this opens up a whole new can of worms. Her business was a new business that she was just getting ready to do in Napa Valley. But quickly, she begins to find out some things that summer in Napa Valley about her husband she was very unaware of. And I thought this was gonna be a relaxing book, you know, kick back in Napa Valley based off the picture. But boy, did it surprise me with all the twists and turns of the book. I just assumed it was going to be romancy, or not romancy, a romance because of the cover, um, because of Napa. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't read the back of the cover. So the story takes off from there. And I loved how Remy has such a big heart that she is willing to take her time when it comes to casting judgment. I love that she has an unconditional love for her friends and her family, and even her husband, you know, once he passes. Because that has to be like, I couldn't imagine arguing with somebody and at that very moment, them like passing away at that very moment. But yes, it is an amazing book. If you want to pick up something about Napa Valley in California, they're of course from Louisiana, then try this book out. It is about friendship. It is about love. It is about heartbreak. It's about romance. It's about, I will say this, there is it doesn't give a lot of details, but if SA, if that is something you can't tolerate at all, if you can't read about it at all, if it's something that has ever touched you and you don't want to read about that period, I would say then this is not your book, because it is touched on. There's no details, there's no, but it is touched on because it does take place here in the story, is a part of the story. So I would say if that is, I don't recall that being something at the beginning that was mentioned. It may have been, but I would say definitely if that is a tender spot for you, then you may not want to pick up the book. But yes, I would say 10 out of 10, highly recommend, a great summer read. And there's a happily ever after in both books. There's a happily ever after in the thriller here, and there is a happily ever after here with the Napa Valley book, Sunset Over Napa Valley. And let me see if it gives me, because I didn't give you any of the synopsis really, I just gave you part of what my thoughts were on it. Might give you a tidbit here. I'll give you just this little blurb. It says, the call of summer, sisterhood and hearts in need of healing bring two best friends and their college-age daughters to Napa Valley, California's breathtaking wine country, where a long-held secret threatens to forever alter their relationships. But yes, if you're looking for something good to get into, check it out, Napa Valley. And the last thing I think I'm gonna get to, I think I'm gonna try to read this book, Miss Mary Mack by DeAndre Kravalik. This was recommended by Reading Over Reality Nike. And the way this book had her hemmed up, the way she was afraid to say Miss Mary Mack, I decided I want to read it for Summerween. It's a little book. It's not thick or anything like that. But I don't know about you, as a little kid, we sung these songs. Miss Mary Mack, 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 all dressed in black, black, black. Well, apparently there is some historical reference to this song. I never knew that. Um, but it sounds like she was saying this may be based off of a real person. And so I want to dive into this book this week because what better way to kick off Summerween? Let me read the blurb for you on the back here. It's very short. It says, they burned her once, they laid her low, they thought her name would never grow. But whisper spread and children play, and now she stirs when voices say, Miss Mary Mac, Mac, Mac. Some songs die, some songs don't die, some names don't fade, and some come back when they are made. This one, getting into it, excited to get to it. Anyway, have an amazing Monday. Take care. Just a reminder, wishing everyone nothing but inner peace, positivity, and empowerment. Have a great Monday.